Hi everybody. Merry meet, this is Darius. So, I was ranting to myself and mostly about stuff I'd seen on the internet and people having issues, and I thought, alright, let me make use of this. Let me make something good come out of this. And so I would like to post a video today about substitutions and intuitive craft. Mostly because I've seen other people ranting on this on YouTube, and it seemed like a reasonable topic that I actually have some thoughts on. Why not? I have noticed a lot of trends among new witches, and then similar trends among older, more experienced witches in response. The trend among new witches is do what you feel. Follow your intuition. Do what you feel is right. And I bite my tongue at that most of the time because I used to be that witch. By the way, I apologize for all my frumpitude. It's a lazy Saturday afternoon. I'm trying to rest as much as possible before I have to go do shit later. I also know there's glare, like, right here. That's a thing. It's not going away. I'm not editing this video. I'm not moving the camera. Just deal with it. I like it. It's a sunny day. I want a little sunlight in my videos. Too long a winter. Anyway. And I used to be that witch. I used to be that intuitive, oh, it feels right, let me do this witch. I used to do that. In my new day, in my, young and dumb days. I think most of us have been that. And if you haven't been that, and you've been practicing for less than 5 years, then honey, you might be that right now. No insults intended. We're all there at one point or another. But that might be you right now. If you are really pissed at what I just said and think, how dare he? That might be you. That's fine. We've all been there. And sometimes in that feeling, I would go, well, this feels right, and I should do this. And I would make a spell out of that. And that felt good and helped me a lot in getting on to do things, because it gave me the confidence to do things later, both magically and in my life at the time. Because I had done a spell, I had the confidence. Because I had done a spell, giant air quotes, I had the confidence to go forth and take action. And that placebo effect, that bolstering my inner self by doing something outward to convince me that I had an edge, was nice, but that's not witchcraft, that's mysticism, and I think it's about time we started discerning between the two. And there's nothing wrong with mysticism, there's nothing wrong with affirmations, there's nothing wrong with all that stuff. That's good, it's nice, it's kind, it's right. I mean, I'm playing with my mala, I'm kind of keeping myself calm by mantra. Anyway, internally. But just because we feel a certain way, and we do that thing, and it helps us feel better, that doesn't mean that that's actual witchcraft. If it produces outward results on its own, and it gives you the confidence to go forward, and it produces bigger results than you would have gotten if you had just acted without the spell, having that confidence that the spell gave you, but acting without the spell. If it produces bigger results than that, then yes, it's legit. But I've seen a lot of trends, and a lot of very frustrated, older, more experienced YouTubers going, you can't just substitute anything you fucking want. Think before you act. This is not the craft we are handing down to you. This is some bullshit that you made up, and it's different, and it's not legit. And I can understand their side of it too. Because a very immense point in the craft is the preservation of tradition. And that's true of witchcraft in general, it's true of Wicca, at least if you know any traditional Wiccans. And in many circles, it's true of hoodoo. It's also true of in other initiatory systems and paths. I will say that there is room for you to discover your own things and make your own path. That's what's called unverified personal gnosis. When you have a revelationary moment, not revolutionary, revelationary. Revelation to reveal, to have revealed unto you something. Unverified personal gnosis is when you have that moment with a thing, with a material, with a deity, with a spirit, with a being, with a place, in a ritual where you have an experience that gives you information or understanding or awareness of some form or function of magic, or of your relationship with that being or with that material or with that place that is entirely your own and that you've never found anywhere else. That doesn't mean that it's applicable everywhere with everyone. That means that is how that works for you. That means that is your thing. Cool. You can have that. But not everything that is personal gnosis, unverified personal gnosis, not everything you experience that works for you is something that works for everyone. This is why we have formularies. This is why we have recipe books. This is why we have shit like, whether you think good or ill of either of these authors, whether you think good or ill of either of these books, that's why we have things like Cunningham's Encyclopedia of Magical Herbs. That's why we have shit like the Complete Book of Incenses, Oils, and Brews. That's why we have Hoodoo Urban Root Magic by Cat Ironwood. Whatever you think of those authors, and that's a whole different debate. A whole different set of debates, depending on what angle you're coming from. That's why we have those things. Because that's the information that is it has been used by multiple people in multiple forms and circumstances over and over again until we were certain that it works for everybody who tries it. Until we were certain that if you can do any magic whatsoever, you can do that. And it will work. Or at least for like 90+% of the practicing population. That is what that is. That is what a formulary is. That is what herbal encyclopedias and mineral encyclopedias and books on magical formulas are. That is, okay, this works for pretty much everybody who's tried it. And that works. Works fully, works wholeheartedly. That works. I've seen a lot of people disregard that knowledge and go, no, do what you feel. Do whatever you need. Do whatever you must. I will say two things on that. One, substitutions and doing whatever you feel is right are two different things. Don't call them the same fucking thing. Substitutions is one thing, and I will go on to what that is in a moment. Doing whatever you feel like is doing whatever you feel like. And just winging it and going, I know best! And that's, you know what, if you think you know best, good on you. Have a nice day. Go away. Because, you know what, I may disagree. And if you don't want your feelings bruised, I suggest you have a nice day. On the idea of these, you can substitute anything for anything. No, you can't. You can try. If it works for you, well, that's good on you. But there are reasons why we do things the way we do them. There are reasons why we have tried and true methods that people have used time and again. But there are reasons why we have tried and true associations time and again. There are reasons why you use this herb for this kind of money magic, and why you use this for this application of psychic ability. It's the same reason why you don't practice meditation and trance work, or at least it is not recommended to all to practice meditation and trance work in the beginning of your practice by doing this. Like, that is not conducive to the clarity of mind that you need for meditation. Hence, like, similarly, the energy of that herb or root may not be conducive to the thing you're trying to use it for. And the inherent difference therein should be apparent, but then again I hear a lot of people go, oh, well, you can substitute anything for anything, or you can use rosemary for all the things. Oh. I am going to now read from the book that started all this ridiculous substitution bullshit. And I'm going to clarify a few things for those of you in the peanut gallery who may not have been paying attention. This is Cunningham's The Complete Book of Incenses, Oils, and Brews. Part 3, Substitutions, Introduction. If you lack some of the ingredients, wood aloe, for instance, is difficult to obtain today. Simply substitute an herb with the same basic energies. Now, I would clarify, the same basic energies is too broad a definition to be accurate for that. But Cunningham was not an initiate of any specific tradition that I know of. He was not a Wiccan, at least not in any Gardnerian or Alexandrian school that I know of. He knew a bunch. He practiced with them. That doesn't mean he knew them. That doesn't mean it doesn't mean he was an initiate. It doesn't mean he had the same knowledge passed down in traditions. And he cites an example here. I won't read the whole thing. But someone was trying to make an ancient incense for spirit communication. Spirit manifestation. And there was this gum made up, this complete made up resin. And he went, oh, well, you can substitute this, that, and the other thing. And he went, no, if you don't use this, there are dire consequences. I think the specific quote is, this 25,000-year-old recipe plainly states that if I don't use gum, whatever, evil spirits will carry me off to the burning sands of Arabia. The immediate response, oh, so that's for protection against evil spirits in the burning sands of Arabia. Well, then you really have three options. Use this, which is another thing for protection. He quotes asafoetida, which is great for keeping shit from bothering you. Or you can not make that particular recipe and find another one for spirit manifestation. Sensible thing to do, by the way. Or pack for hot weather and just expect them to fucking take you. I like that approach. It's very clear of, I have a clear understanding, and this is how substitution should work. I have a clear understanding, now that I've looked through the recipe and looked at all the herbs and understand what this is, that this gum, this resin, is used for this purpose in the recipe. It balances it out in this way and serves this function in the larger spirit manifestation. This gum may not be for spirit manifestation specifically. Look in the recipe. Look at what all the ingredients do. And then see why this thing is in it. What does this thing do in that recipe that, helps that recipe accomplish what it's supposed to accomplish? And then find something that does that if you don't have that specific thing. That's fine. If it's an easy to find ingredient or an easy to get ingredient, like if you can go to ShopRite or Home Depot or hell, in the day of the internet, order it online. If you can't easily find it, make a substitution. If you don't have the money for it, I understand. Well, substitute what you can or find a different recipe or a different way to go about what you're trying to accomplish. If you can't find a reasonable substitution you can afford, then your best bet is generally to try a different recipe or a different spell, or make up your own, if you feel you have the knowledge to do so. That's a big caveat, by the way. If you feel you have the knowledge to do so, understand the weight and potency of your magic, and give it the respect it deserves by not just substituting willy-nilly and assuming that it's just whatever. I kind of feel when people assume it's just whatever that they're doing a deep disrespect to the idea and concept and practice of magic as a whole. By the way, if the frame rate's driving you crazy, I apologize. This is a shitty old laptop I'm trying to record on. Pardon? It's different than understanding that you don't have this thing and you need something to make this work because you need to do this spell or a spell like this, and you're going to need that ingredient either way, or something that does the same thing as that ingredient either way. Okay, well, I don't have patchouli. I ran out and I can't get it, and if I order it online, it's going to be 2 weeks, and I can't get to the Botanica to get more patchouli, or I can't get to the herbal shop to get more patchouli. Fuck. And the GNC down the... I could substitute patchouli essential oil, but the GNC down the street ran out. Fuck. Alright, okay, what do I need patchouli in this for? Protection against evil. Like, curse breaking. Jinx breaking. Okay. How about if I mix frankincense and blessed salt? Frankincense has a go-away evil quality, a like exorcising quality, and a blessed evil has a way of unmaking negative influences. And those two and shit, something specifically against spell work. Some say if you think frankincense and blessed salt will do that for you and it works that way for you, all right. Because those are classical uses adapted for a specific situation. And not just, oh, I can use whatever. Okay, so that is against evil, frankincense. Salt, purifying. Cleansing against evil, exorcising, frankincense. Salt, purifying, blocking out, barriering and cleansing. Okay, so what do I have in the quality of breaking? Of snapping that curse out. I need something now to cause the force, because patchouli has all three of those qualities when you use it for breaking a jinx, or for breaking a hex. And I go to ShopRite because, it's all I got. Fuck, I look up. What can I get? White pepper. That's not the best or most ideal, but it does have that break it in half and make it go away quality. And it is potent. A few very light pinches of white pepper and pray over it so it does the specific thing you want it to do. When you're doing substitutions, I highly recommend you pray over the herbs to say, I need you to do this specific thing. Or chant, or put energy, put your hands over the herbs and concentrate, or however you do your thing. Put it over. Okay. Now, and here's the kicker. Oh, you can use rosemary for anything. This is the specific substitutions from the tables of magical substitutions in this same book. In order to increase the practicality of this book, I've devised this list of specific substitutions for several common and unusual herbs. Here follows like a page and a half. I'm sorry, like 2.5 pages of substitutions. For it says this on the recipe. You can use this because it's really close. But here's some general additional guidelines. Rosemary can be safely used for any other herb. Rose for any flower. Frankincense or copal for any gum resin. Tobacco for any poisonous herb. For other substitution ideas, particularly for oil, see Chapter 4. I have issue with that. Not because I think you can't at all do that. In a pinch, I think the true context of that is better put, in a pinch, that's better than nothing. In a pinch, those are like the Van Ven oils for those categories. If you have nothing else, it's literally better than doing absolutely fuck all. It's better than not doing the spell at all if you really need to do the results right. You need to do that right now to get results right now. But that is in a pinch if you have nothing else. And I don't necessarily recommend it under all circumstances, even if that is the case. If it's for cleansing, you don't have table salt you can pray over. If it's for protection, you can't mix salt and black pepper. Black pepper to make that shit go away and salt to keep it out. Yeah, there are use a basic thing in place of the larger, more potent recipe situations. Those exist, and it's important to acknowledge that those exist, and it's important to deal with them as they come. But don't be. Don't assume that nothing is true and everything is permitted in magic. Ceremonial magicians and alchemists and herbalists throughout the 600 plus years of medieval and Renaissance history didn't find the planetary and elemental associations herbs and research them and try them over and over again for you to go, no, it's just a feeling. There's a resource there, and it's important, and it's potent, and you should be taking advantage of it. African slaves taken from the African continent over to the U.S. did not sweat and shed blood and tears and hard fucking work disguising their gods in the form of saints and finding this herb works in this way and it's like the herb we had back home and we will use it for this, or learning from Native Americans what their local herbs were used for better or worse. There's a whole conversation about cultural appropriation in this specific example that I'm not having right now. We can have that in another video. I am not having that conversation. That's a different video. I'm willing to have that conversation, just not in this video. And then tried that shit, and if it didn't work, they tried something else. Tried and true, I'm sorry, is better than someone just flying by their feelings in the seat of their pants every time. Because if you can just use whatever, and any method works, then why bother putting it on your altar? And why bother... You can just shout at your herb cabinet, I need you guys to do this thing, now go out and do the thing! Just walk away. If nothing is true and everything is permitted and you can do magic however the fuck you want, I would have been doing that shit for years. Just having a cabinet full of herbs and opening it up and going, get off your ass and do this! I need this! Oh, I would love if it worked like that. That would be nice. That would be fucking nice. But I don't think it does. Based on the fact that I've never known anybody who tried that shit and had it work for them. So, if it works for you, let me know, please. Comments below. I would love that. Tell me how that shit works for you, and I would try that in a heartbeat to simplify things out a little bit. Once in a while, I really need a spell that's that quick. But no, if you have a better substitution, don't use rosemary just because it is kind of like the Van for all leafy herbs. If you have a better flower to substitute in, don't use rose just because it's the Van for all substitutions of flowers. If you actually have the poisonous plant you need to use, don't use tobacco just because it's the thing that can be used. You can put a trailer tire in your car to get it to the mechanic so you can actually get a replacement for a new tire, but that doesn't make it an ideal substitution. It makes it good enough in a pinch to get you to where you really need to go so you can actually get what you need. Oh my god. Just saying. And on the subject of your feelings, you know what, no, I will do a separate video on that. This is just on substitutions. I feel like this is a big enough video on its own. Intuitive Craft has its own big video, but that's an important thing, is that it's okay for you to have personal gnosis with a plant or a stone, and it tells you how to do something with it that you have never seen anywhere else. You've never seen anywhere else, and you get that information from that material, from that place, from that spirit, from that god, where they say, you will do this way to work with me. And you've never seen it anywhere else. Well, okay, follow instructions, because you're getting it from the source. I have some herbs that I have one specific one that I work with where it's a seed pod with a seed in it, and early in my practice, that herb, when I was first preparing it, first time, when gave me clear instructions and said separate out the seeds from the pods, put the pods in one thing and the seeds in another, and use the seeds for this. And that use that it gave me was nothing I ever read in a book. And the pods, those shells, you use for this other thing, this other specific use. And again, another one I've never seen in books, never even heard of from any other practitioner. That is unverified personal gnosis. When you have a relationship, and it was blunt too. It was fucking blunt. It was, no, you use this for this thing. I am telling you. You use that for that thing. I am telling you. It wasn't, oh, I feel like I could. No. It grabbed me by the gut. It was actually slightly uncomfortable in that moment to be seized fully and be given this information directly, which did not feel like it was from me. Felt like it was from outside of myself, from the direction of the herb in my hands. The seed pod in my hands told me, flat out, gave me explicit instructions. I know, that sounds fucking crazy, but this is how magic works sometimes. Don't assume that your feelings trump everything. Personal gnosis is nice, but that means that's how it works for you. And that's only if it actually works. Substitutions are made to be done with are intended to be done with intelligence, not with just a whatever attitude. I don't know what else to say on this. That's as clear as I think I can make it. Alright, so Mary part, blessed be.